Hello, son. I was gonna say something like cool, but then I was like, dang it, man, I can't do it. I can't do it. But no, well, I can. So I still have to work on it. Dang it. I can't do it. I can't. All right. So today I want to do a different type of review that I normally do, or more motivational video or interviews that I do. It's because I want to show that also I don't just read books, but I also just watch other stuff. So now, for those who aren't into personal development, if you are, that's awesome. You probably know him. I cite. I mean, I talk about him a lot in my videos, because this is the guy who I was listening to Bob Proctor yesterday. Yeah, this guy name is Bob Proctor, right? It's a DVD that I'm doing a review on. It's not a book review, but uh, he has changed my life. He said, "Oh no, I did it for myself." Because he was like, people always email him and say like, "Yeah, people will tell us that I changed their life," and then he's like, "Yeah, if you like start to believe it, what they're trying to say is they did it for themselves." So basically, if you're watching this video, you did it for yourself. You changed your life by listening to this videos, or by directing your life and taking action on these incredible ideas that people have given you. Now, most people, of course, view people as celebrities and famous as they're well known. Of course, we know that, right? Like Justin Bieber or Selena Gomez, or Jet Li and stuff like that. But he was on Ellen. He was on Ellen, and then Larry King, Nightline. So what make him so unique from everyone else? Well, because he give you the truth. Like, he not only teaches the truth, he also practices the truth, right? So many of us are geared to the thing that we're not really listening to what he's really saying. Like, even to people who are into personal and they watch his stuff, they still have issues of attracting the thing that they want most. And this guy, I know people don't like reading books. He's an avid reader, and he's very huge on reading. And so is Earl Nightingale, his mentor. That's why I look up to these people, because I never knew what I could do. So this is about discovering your infinite potential. I never knew that I could be able to do interviews, or to get really huge, successful people, CEOs or best-selling author, to be able to ask them question on how they set their goals. I never had that thought. And if you're right now that you think that the potential that you have are very limited, or you don't have none, that you weren't gifted, you wasn't born talented. I read a book on talented is overrated. It is truly overrated. Look, too many people pass on the talented word, and they never try. The book is talk about. I remember Will Smith talk about, look, talent you may have naturally, but skills is developed by hours and hours beating on your craft. So if Will Smith, like, we already know Will Smith from every the iRobot, from I Am Legend, what's that movie that I really loved a lot, uh oh crap, I can't, Hancock, the superhero movie. And I love that. I love Will Smith. And if celebrities say, Will Smith read too. Will Smith read. He if you don't know who Rich Dad Poor Dad is, Robert Kiyosaki, then yeah, Rich. He reads The Alchemist. I bet you, and Jim Carrey reads He's into personal development. If you hear Jim Carrey talk about the law of attraction, oh man, most people get tripped up on that. But so I have oh yeah, you can buy the DVD if you want. Now, if I am I promoting it? Yes, but I'm not really selling it, because there's no thing. I'm just promoting it because it affected my life. It changes the way how I view my um potential as a human being. I believe that we all have the potential that we never like. I think potential is not there for you to it's not there. I realize people believe that talent or building skills or potential is there come easily. No, if you truly want to have like the ultimate dream life or dream goals that you have, then I think it's about unlocking your potential to do great. Like you don't do what's easy, you do what is hard and necessary for your growth, for your development. So for over 40, so I watch the I can get, because the stuff that he said in, because it has two in it. It has the interview, who's Bob Proctor. I have to show you right here. I don't know if you can see. It's kind of blurry, but um so it has the full lecture, Discover Your Infinite Potential, and interview. Full interview by Lisa Gar. Um I watched the interview. I already watched tons of his lecture in this one. It's really good. It's the same thing I would say. He talk about the law of attraction. He would talk about the Think and Grow Rich. If you don't know what is Think and Grow Rich, is basically a book that a lot of successful people read, and millionaires and billionaire reads. I found out that Bill Gates read Think and Grow Rich. He have a blog on that. Now, most people think that Think and Grow Rich is like you think and then you grow rich. No, it's about rich is what he talked about. Rich is not just monetary, not money, not the green paper or the coins or whatever that you have in your country, right? It is essentially your dreams, your whatever you want. Basically, my riches is maybe for my health, for the interviews that I'm doing. That's one of my dreams, so that's riches. um the intellectual property that I have. Because if you're watching this, you're accumulating time to study and insights with you're accumulating a large knowledge base that can change your life. That it will help you along the way of becoming successful. And I was thinking, too many people think as success it's an objective thing, like it's an outside thing, and that too many people don't realize what they're trying to do to people, right? Adults, kids, people, what they're trying to do is they themselves subjectively objectify and put on the reality to other people. So that's an object. People look for your success for the cars, for the houses. Look, I get that we all need that, but people who really understood the whole success is a subjective thing, right? It's inside. It is not outside. Too many people are chasing the outside thing, and that's why they're too depressed. The happiness is a choice that we can make for ourselves if we decided to be happy. Look, if you can have all the thing in the world, but if you're not happy, what's the point? If you're like, I can have all the thing that doesn't make me happy. Like, I know people. I don't want to get offended to anyone, but I get that we're here to enjoy life, right? So I might as well have the thing that you want, right? But for me, it's a little bit different. My success is based upon I think success, it's not a one point shot point of view. Success is, it can change. It depends. Meaning that it can change over time, because we human evolve and grow, and intellectually and mentally, not just physically, but mentally, we evolve at a higher level of way of thinking and seeing things, and how we can change our perspective, how we can change our perception of things. Now, for over 40 years, Bob Proctor has worked and is teaching on helping millions of people use the power of their minds to achieve lives of prosperity, rewarding relationship, and spiritual awareness. Now, this is interview. You can watch the. I guess I can put in parts of in the thing, the lecture that he has. He's come to the conclusion that anyone can do anything of what he accomplished himself. So what he means is, by the thing that he never knew that he thought he could do was to become successful. He was a failure, just like everyone else who think that. And for those who feel like you're a failure in life, this guy, he came from a poor family, and he had nothing. He never when he never picked up a book and read until he was 26. His first book was Think and Grow Rich. He's like I covered. He said it doesn't really matter where you're coming from. It's where you're going. It's where you're shooting your star at. And if you have the idea to shoot the stars where you're pointing, you can do what you want essentially. But essentially, it had to come to the part of you believing. Believing, it's a funny word. Belief is based upon a thought, but a thought that's coupled with emotion, but it's a thought with believing that you can do it. Not many people have the idea that they can do it. You know, I give you an example. Too many people will stop you, or at first I never knew that I could do interviews. That would it never. I mean, I knew essentially I wanted to meet them. Essentially, I want to see them. Now it's because I what I think what's the point of looking up to a person and never getting actually to get their insight, their minds, their how they operate, how their behavior act toward other people. And I think it's essentially important to know these type of things. Now, why it changed over time. I look up to a lot of people, like not just Bob Proctor, Brian Tracy, um, of course. Oh yeah, this guy. He also tweeted me back on his answer how he said goes, just like Brian Tracy, Lewis Howes. If you don't know who that is, uh, I got Becky G from the Yellow Power Ranger to answer how she and then I got the Blue Power Ranger, the original Billy David Yost, or they call him Billy in the Blue Power Ranger. And I got look, am I saying this is it's not impossible to reach, we're so close to the internet now. I mean, we have the internet connection with everyone, and that we can reach CEOs, best-selling authors, every before to get our answer. But not only to get our answer, I think that we should take their advice and see they didn't think this way. Essentially, they didn't think if you know all successful people, right? They all essentially start out with nothing. They didn't have a large knowledge base. They didn't have a large skill set. They didn't have a large audience. They started from nothing, and they started from somewhere. See, I believe that too many people are afraid to start because they see someone massively successful and have a huge audience, and they put the CEO or the best-selling author on a pedestal. But they started somewhere, and they were afraid to start because they didn't believe in themselves. As they gain momentum over years and decades, and upon decades, what happened is they become someone that they never knew that they thought they could be. That's all that we should learn from these, is that essentially what we want to pick out is that they themselves didn't believe in themselves at the beginning. And maybe some people believed it, but at the beginning, they didn't have the initial idea like, hey, I'm a somebody. Too many people let the thought, their outside results, the thing that they don't have now, dictate how their thinking is. So it control their thoughts, so it control their world, right? We should step out and really bet on the surest thing, which is ourselves. We should bet out on ourselves. It's our life. You were born out of your, mom womb, but essentially it is your life. Is you are here to do what you not. It's not like kind of like a narcissist thing, but essentially this is. I mean, think about you as an individual have a unique uh identity, personality, soul, and you're not the same as everyone else, but too many of us think the same as everyone else, and we don't differentiate from that point of view. You should know that you are special. Like, we are important. I mean, I know that I'm important. That's not because I'm so high and mighty. No, I never. I, even if you know people Because too many people are hurt and they don't see themselves as special or important. They are important. It's just that it takes time to take out of your day to believe. It's like my thinking didn't get this way because you know I used to think that I was a nobody. I don't really care if somebody say I'm a nobody. Okay, maybe I get hurt a little bit. It's like, whoa, like about the subscriber count and the view count, stuff like that. Look, if I can get people to be interviewed, I think that's something. Like that's not easy to do. Every day I have to do it. Even if they don't respond, even if they say no, even if they look, I get rejection, I get decline, and I don't like it. But in order to do something good in life, in order to serve people, to know that people have like this light in them, because I believe that there's darkness. I mean, not believe, but there is darkness, yeah, in this world, and there's evil. So in order to create like a light, I have to become a beacon of light to shine through people's life. It's not always easy, and I have to keep going and pounding away because people don't see it themselves that they have the potential to become great. And then here's the go. Most people let the results control their mind instead of they control their mind to get the results. So what I mean is by this: in the law of attraction community, if they don't have the thing, if they don't have the object, or the result that they want, they're letting the results control the thinking, right? That's a lose-lose mentality. Because essentially, if you think this way, you lose because you're trying to get something in the external world. The external world is based upon the physical object that we see tangibly. Tangibly is a thing that you can see, taste, and touch. Rocks, food, water, air, sound, or a person, a car, a house. We can see it with the physical eye. So it's the same thing as grades. If you have a straight A, or you have a B or a C or a D, you're using that as thinking that's the results, and you think that's going to be that forever. The results that you think that the results that you have for your potential, it's um defined by these results, the physical results. But that's not a good way to define how you get results. The results is controlled by your mind. If you truly want to get your results, it's by your mind. I believe that the mind is really powerful to an essence that if you degree in if you demand the universe or demand yourself to do what is necessary to control your mind, to control your thoughts and believe it with emotion, that somehow, some way, you'll be able to do it and the universe will give way to you. Well, I got that from Will Smith, but it is true. For instance, most people who I can give you an example because I know this, right? Let's say people come for me for advice for the law of attraction, where they said likes attract like. They hear this a bunch of time, and then they said, "Where's your results?" Because we live in the world based upon physical object. Because my experience, I cannot tell you my experience is you cannot see it. Only I can see it, right? So I do have experience on physical. I mean, like I have attracted things, but I cannot physically show it to you. But what I can do, see, it's like this. Like I want to interview this person. People see the results that you're not. Like people have to see it to believe it, right? And the thing was with people, see, if you're in law of attraction, I think we have to change the way our thinking. Like for instance, I didn't start this way. I didn't start this way as in like interviews and getting authors to be asked questions from T. R. Heckard and what was his name, Brian Tracy, Mary Morrissey, Bob Proctor, Gary V. You don't know who that is. Gary V is my favorite CEO who, uh, he's really huge. Now I asked all these CEOs and best-selling authors. See, It took me 2 years to get, if you don't know who Jack Canfield is, to answer my question. It took me 4 months to get Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Now he was on Oprah Winfrey. He's a um, huge successful entrepreneur. Did it? Was I afraid at first? Yes, because essentially I thought that by doing this it would annoy them. But hey, I don't really care. I need to know what I need to know, right? And yeah, and they all answer back. Well, not all of them, but most of them, about 40 plus CEO, entrepreneurs, successful people answer me back, and I'm grateful for that. So, the lesson here is never let your outside results dictate how you want to get results. In order to live your dream, is that you have to show yourself what is truly possible. You have to do the thing that you you don't believe that you could do it. For instance, I have to do interviews because I believe that. At first, I had this. At first, I had a lot of fear. I remember I didn't know how to do an interview because I never done it before. What make you think? Like most people, like usually if people are looking outside, what make you think you can do interview with top CEOs or best-selling author? You never done it. How do you know? It's because they're seeing the outside world. They're seeing the external world. But we have to look it backwards. We have to try and believe it. It's like I can do this, and you have to keep pushing and base, even if we have fear. The lady Lisa asked him. He followed his rules. He followed his rules. He studied the laws of nature. He stayed in harmony with the law. He don't follow the rules of the masses by uh, um, because he think that they're on the wrong track. Now, why we always why successful people don't follow the rules of the masses? It's because if they were think about it, they wouldn't be successful if they follow the rules of the masses, because the rules of the masses is based upon limitation of the mind, the limitation of every single thing on earth. You can't do this, you can't do that. Why? Oh, because he's so and so and he's famous and he's that and this and that. No, that's a limitation on your part. You're just That is your limitation of your subjective reality, your world that you have set for yourself. My reality is already expanded by the way how I conducted interviews and asked. It's already expanded. So I think we have to get to the point that we in ourselves have to believe in something greater than just the physical object that we define as reality. The reality is there are billions of realities in this world. So it's based on billions of perceptions in this world. It's how we see it that create our world, and in that creation, we create something that we never thought that we could create in this world. You have see egos, right? A lot of people get tripped on egos, right? A lot of people I talk in this video. A lot of people get tripped on ego. He said you have to have a strong ego to do this business. But if you have an ego problem, you're not going to last. That's why I said, too many people have pride. A lot of people have so much pride, and they never let one they never are flexible with other people point of view or opinion and listen to other people. We got to become aware when we get an idea in our mind, we hold that idea must by law move into form. Things happen, you gotta big ideas, things happen to help you deliver the idea. We attract what we have to attract. So that's pretty much it. I talk on the potential. Um, Essentially, if you have an idea, that's just a intangible thing, right? It can be tangible if you write it down. But essentially, you don't see it, right? You write it down and you don't see the results right away. Oh, let me give you an example. The way where we are is, or our belief system didn't get uh, what it is today because it was programmed. As a baby, it was empty. We were an empty vessel. We have a soul. We are intelligent, but over time we were programmed these things. The food that you like, the thing that you like, was programmed into you when you were a kid. It is by your environment is very, very powerful that it molds you who you are today. Your friends, the book that you read, what you watch, it molds you who you are today, and it accumulates over time. So, what makes you think that it'll happen right away? My belief system right now doesn't happen. I've been into personal development for 5, 6 years. And I had to get out all the garbage, all the negative belief system that I have, just like you. You have to get out all these negative belief systems that you have in order to create something that you will value, that you will love, that you will be happy with for the rest of your life. If not, too many people will regret the thing that they did not do, the thing that they never asked the author, they never took the chance to do interviews, they never took the chance to meet the person or ask and be courageous excuse me, and have audacity to do what is necessary, to do what just make them happy. Me, happy most is I get to see people smile. It's not always easy because I get bashed on. But if I get to see the person who I interview smile, the people at the other end who watch this and have value to their life and change aspect of their life, it makes me happy. That I can change someone's mindset, someone belief system, somehow, some way. I can become a beacon in a hope for people because there's evil, there's darkness in this world. There's a lot of crap that we should not listen to, but it's out there. So we need to create a world that is better. And that's what I'm trying to do in my message. Not always easy. I get emotional sometimes. So in his lecture he talked about the law of attraction is basically a primary law. I mean no, not sorry. The law of attraction, he said, is a based upon a secondary law, while the law of vibration is the primary law because we all essentially vibrate. Vibration is the laws of the universe. It's vibrates, nothing rests, and we have to like our brain is an electronic switching station. We can switch on and off these vibration, and negative and positive. Um, I had a thought about your potential, right? Essentially, I think someone has programmed your potential when they said that you didn't have potential. That what happened is you program your mind over and over, and it become a subjective ready, and then therefore it become an objective. First, it have to be going in your mind, become a subjective, and go out to the world. It's like 1, 2, 3 process, like the Trinity. You keep going cycle. It's a cycle. It's not. It's like sure you see the results. It's the same thing, right? You see the results that you're not getting. Use a three-way gate. 1, 2, 3, and bam, you create a world that you did not want. So my message is this: if in fact that you don't believe that you have the potential, I didn't either. Um, I should have said this in the beginning of the video because I guess I forgot because I tried to make it funny. Um, and when I was in high school, so I'm gonna compare it to myself to when I was in high school and when I was in boarding school and when I was in my old self when I was working in a restaurant job, right? In high school, I didn't excel. That was not the best me I could have been. Um, I get into fights. I joke around. I don't do homework. All the typical thing that you think that this kid have no potential. That this kid is not intelligent. All he does is play around and laugh and clowns around and joke. I was a class clown. Same thing as middle school and uh, elementary school. But that wasn't my best self. Most people would indicate that I have no intelligent, um, uh, uh, right? Now, people are seeing the objective reality, but they're based upon the success upon their own subjective reality. They objectify and project that success onto the other person. So most adults would say, I'm dumb, unsuccessful, I make a lot of mistakes. But what they had to understand is by the limitation they projected the reality of a person who's not successful. Maybe you would relate to me on that one. So I got kicked out of high school and I went to boarding school. Now, this is the best. At first, it wasn't, but essentially, I built momentum. Now, that was my best version of myself. I excel. Notice, people didn't talk as much as me, but on boarding school, I excel. Everyone loves me. Everyone, like adults, gravitate towards me, and I was bright. I was happy because that was my best self. In restaurant, I was not my best self. I didn't excel because it's essentially, my ex broke up with me. So what happened is plummet my belief system. It crumbled and shattered my world. So essentially, all these things. What I'm trying to say is the middle. I had the picture. I knew that I could do it. But the other one, like all this, is because it's the environment. It's the heartbreak. It's the painful. We have that in our moment. Now, essentially, even if you talk to me, you wouldn't view me as intelligent. But if you talk to me today, you would view me as intelligent because I know all these things, right? Like, well, not all these things. I mean, I don't know it all. I do know it, but if it come out of my mouth, you would say I'm intelligent. Just like the property manager said, they view me as intelligent. It's because I study over time. I accumulate a large knowledge base, not a lot, but enough to be able to say, hey, this guy is intelligent. He knows what he's talking about. Then you would see that as I'm very intelligent. But I didn't get that way. I didn't know that Johnny that I am now because think about it. I didn't have the knowledge back then. I didn't have the skills that I have now. Essentially, you can build the skills, the knowledge, and you can become an expert in your field. If you took the time to study, if you took the time to read, if you took the time to watch, you ultimately will become someone that you always wanted to be. Now, most people look the other way around where people say you're nobody. That person said you're nobody. To them, that you're nobody. But to someone else's eyes, you're somebody. You could become you're a model to your brothers or sister or somebody you don't even know that they're looking up to you. They see what you're doing and they do that because they believe in you and they believe that you could do it. So that's pretty much meant for. I know it's a long talk and I guess it's not really a review. Um, and he talked about water, he talked about vibration, and there's no demarcation of vibration. Like he used water as an example, and that these waters level has no demarcation, meaning water is in its physical state. As it go to steam, it go into a higher vibration, and it go to the ether, into because energy is not. If you keep boiling the water, come to we see it all the time, right? Water, then it comes steam and it go into the ether levels of vibrations. In essence, the physical water is in a low vibration while the steam is a little bit in the middle, higher vibration, while it go all the way to a higher vibration. So what he's saying is energy is not created nor destroyed, so we are amount of this energy that we can release into the world and create something. And that is my message, is this. We have an amazing gift that we will have to find it for ourselves. You have to discover your potential and find out what you cannot do and do that. Not what I'm trying to say is harm you. Um, you know, I wouldn't imagine that, but you can essentially do what you want to do if you really believe. Well, that's my message today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to my channel, like my video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.